Police in North Idaho are investigating after a train collided with a truck parked on the tracks. This morning, we have the latest on road closures.
It's the last weekend of summer before fall starts on Monday, but will sunny skies last? I'll let you know coming up.
Thousands of people plan on walking out of work or school today for a global climate strike. This morning, we're asking you, should students be allowed to attend the climate protest? Head to the KREM 2 app to vote now. Vaping-related illnesses and deaths are growing nationwide. This morning, we're taking a closer look at what the symptoms look like. And it's salmon spawning season. We are seeing video of kokanee salmon swimming upstream, so we set out to find some ourselves.
Up with KREM starts right now with Jen York, Evan Narani, and Dina Marie McNichol.
.01 now on our Friday morning. Thanks so much for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Jen York. We are starting your morning rush with breaking news from North Idaho. An Amtrak train hit a truck parked on the tracks in Athol. It happened around midnight near Highway 54. Amtrak tweeted the Empire Builder Train 7 was stopped on the tracks for several hours. It departed Chicago and was en route to Seattle with stops in Sandpoint and Spokane. It has since started moving again. KREM 2's Nicole Hernandez is in Kootenai County with what happened.
Yeah, Jen, those roads are back open this morning, and I'm at the train crossing on Highway 54 near First Avenue, and right here is where that train was stopped for over 2 hours this morning. We're going to show you some video from earlier this morning, but I will say that we're not going to show the truck because that images are too graphic. Amtrak told us that everyone on the train is safe with no injuries. During the delay, Amtrak police and Idaho State Police worked together to investigate. That train that was stopped is back on course now, and Highway 54 is open again, like I mentioned earlier. The only thing still affecting this area is that one of the warning bars is broken, so train staff is having to stop to control traffic when coming to this intersection. And in a situation like this, these trains are going almost 80 miles per hour, and before the sun came up, it was really dark out here. So an Idaho State patrolman told me that these trains' lights just don't reach far enough to stop in time for situations like this. In North Idaho, I'm Nicole Hernandez. Back to you, Jen.
All right, Nicole, thank you so much. Of course, you can track developing updates on that story this morning on KREM.com. Coming up on 7:03 now, we want to turn our attention to the weather. Evan Narani is standing by. Evan, some showers this morning, but the good news is we dry out for the weekend.
That's right. It looks like Saturday is going to be a very nice day, but today, your Friday, still hanging on to a few showers on satellite radar. Here's what we see outside right now. You see all that green on the screen that really just developed over about the last 2 or 3 hours. So now at about 7 a.m., we're seeing stronger cloud cover and more significant showers off toward about the eastern portion of Washington into North Idaho, but it doesn't look like anything's too severe. Everything's pretty light or moderate for the showers that we're seeing. We hang on to a 20% shot of seeing it continue into about 10 a.m. Then temperatures begin to warm up. That's kind of what we're hoping for, is that temperatures will warm up. Clouds will begin to separate a bit, giving us a chance to warm up even more with that sun. 67 degrees outside by the time we get to about 4 p.m. That's the goal. And over the weekend, we'll warm up even more to 69 degrees on Saturday, 70 on Sunday. Another chance of some wet weather coming around is on Sunday. That is going to be pretty light, though. We see a pretty weak weather system pass through by the time we get to that Sunday. On Saturday, though, itself, probably the better day to get outside. Sunny skies with just a few clouds and dry weather persisting through the day. Jen?
7:04 now. Evan, thank you. Let's kick off your morning rush. A Whitman County judge ruled a mistrial in the case against former Pullman Police Sergeant Dan Hargraves. He was accused of first-degree sexual misconduct. After a day and a half of deliberations, the jury decided they could not reach a verdict. The jurors are dismissed and can now discuss the case with others. Jurors told the prosecutor some of the testimony just did not match up. They say there were discrepancies when the victim was in Hargraves' patrol car. Inspection records revealed the Fat Panda marijuana grow facility in Spokane Valley had multiple previous fire code violations. It was the site of a fire last week. No one was injured. Last year, the business received an unsatisfactory rating on a fire inspection. Violations included a sprinkler being too close to a wall and one being behind an electrical conduit. It was also cited for improperly using extension cords in place of permanent wiring. One of the most haunted locations on the Palouse will not be open for ghost tours this fall. The Colfax Chamber of Commerce leaders say the old hospital building is under new ownership. They say features on national TV lured people from all over the country for that old hospital tour. The nation's top aviation regulator tested new flight control software for the Boeing 737 MAX. They gave it a favorable review. It was tested yesterday in Seattle. The MAX has been grounded since March after 2 crashes killed 346 people. Boeing hopes the FAA will allow it to fly again in the next few months. However, the new FAA administration chief says his agency has no timetable for reviewing changes Boeing made to that plane. This weekend, the Seattle Seahawks take on the Saints. If you're not heading to Seattle for the game, you can watch it on KREM 2. Kickoff is at 1:25 p.m. on Sunday. 7:06 now. Remnants of Tropical Storm Imelda severely flooded parts of Texas and Louisiana. At least 2 deaths are linked to that storm. Rescue crews and volunteers with boats are struggling to reach stranded drivers and families trapped in their homes. The storm brought massive flooding along an approximately 100-mile stretch of southeastern Texas. The storm brought the most rain since Hurricane Harvey 2 years ago. People around Houston are now waiting for floodwaters to recede. They say flooding is worse than Harvey.
Thought of losing everything in my house and restarting everything again.
Well, teams are still working to clear abandoned cars from freeways. Some places may not see floodwaters recede until this weekend. Well, that is your morning rush. Stories making headlines in the inland Northwest and around the nation. You can let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag #UpWithKREM. 7:07 now. Climate strikes are underway today around the globe, including right here in Spokane. Millions of young people are expected to take part. The strike is already underway in countries like China, the Czech Republic, and Australia. Led by local high school students, the strike is aimed at pushing world leaders to take steps to curb climate change. Many are happening today during school hours. So this morning we're asking you, should students be allowed to attend the climate protest? You can let us know what you think by voting in our live poll all morning long. Now, the protest is considered a peaceful one. More than 3,500 demonstrations are scheduled around the world, with 800 set for the U.S. The strike here in Spokane is gaining some attention since Governor Jay Inslee announced he plans to attend. The strike is set to be one of the largest student-led protests in history.
It's very empowering to come together and yell and chant about what you care about, and it also helps create attention. One of those times in history where you look back years later and say, where was I on September 20th, 2019? Millions of people across the world are coming out for this day to strike.
Well, many local students do plan to leave school to attend the protest. Each school district in our area has policies regarding student walkouts. Most require parents' permission, but students should also check with their administration for their policy. Amazon has a new climate pledge. Leaders announced it has plans on being carbon neutral by 2040. To start, the online shopping giant ordered 100,000 electric vans. They will go into service in 2021. Amazon says it has emitted more than 40 million metric tons of carbon dioxide last year. That is nearly the same pollution rate of a small nation. Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos says he plans on talking with other company leaders about joining his new climate pledge. Well, the climate strike today happening in Spokane is at the Rotary Fountain in Riverfront Park. It gets underway today at noon. Participants will then march through downtown and end at the Spokane Tribal Gathering Place near City Hall. Of course, we'll be following that story. You can be sure to check KREM.com for updates. You can also watch KREM 2 News at noon. In the meantime, you can vote in our live poll. We asked, should students be allowed to attend the climate protest? 66% of you, 2/3, say no. Coming up on 7:10 now, Valley Fest is happening this weekend. And this morning, we have the Queen herself in studio to talk about what we can expect. And the number of vaping-related illnesses are on the rise. The Food and Drug Administration is now launching its own investigation, but state and federal health agencies are still struggling to find answers. Coming up at 7:30, we'll have more.